What will happen legacy-wise if the Jags win compared to if the Chiefs win?
If the Jags win, then you really have to be like, oh my God, is Trevor Lawrence the best quarterback in the NFL? Because he went into Kansas City with less talent than Patrick Mahomes. Some would say a worse defense, and went in and won against the number one seed in the AFC. Patrick Mahomes is crowned the best quarterback in the NFL right now, rightfully so. He was the best quarterback this year. He had over 5,000 yards passing again, broke the passing record. So it's like, obviously, Mahomes has the most talent. He's fast, can run the ball, and he has the best arm in the NFL. But if Trevor goes into Arrowhead and beats him, with Christian Kirk as his best wide receiver when Kyler Murray was getting absolutely destroyed with the Rams, you have to be like, oh, Trevor is probably better than Josh Allen. He's on the same level as Joe Burrow. And then if he gets to a Super Bowl and it's close and competitive and maybe wins, we have a real debate now in the NFL, because then it's between if Burrow, Lawrence, and Mahomes, it's whoever wins the Super Bowl next, then you're the crown favorite as the best quarterback in the NFL. For Mahomes, it's a disaster. An absolute disaster for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. There's no reason for you guys to lose to this team who's 4-8 to start the year. They have all the momentum. You're coming off a bye. You have plenty of time to study and prepare. You should have been studying film on the Chargers and the Jaguars. Probably didn't even need to study for the Chargers because you play them twice a year. So it's like you should have been watching film on this team all week. And if you come out flat in this game with a team that's crazy hot that just came down 27 and they come out like the buzzsaw they were in the second half, you're kind of fucked, man, because I don't think you're coming back against this team, because Trevor Lawrence, when he got down, stood there unfazed.
Yeah, no
How
doubt.
about you?
I think if the Jags win, I can't quite say he's going to be right there, but I think winning this game submits him as a top 5 quarterback, because we talked about last week with the Chargers and Jags game, and it was like, winner of this game probably submits themselves in the top 5. Well, Trevor threw 4 picks, so there's ways to push back on how he played. I think second half kind of revived his game, but if he goes to Arrowhead, wins that game, I think in no particular order, you have Patty Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. Number 5, you can throw in Lamar if you want to. That's your top 5 in the NFL, and I feel like that's a pretty fair consensus at that point. So for Trevor,
What about Dak?
that's nowhere near that. But if he goes in there and beats in Arrowhead, I get a lot of respect for him. He's definitely a top 5. There's no more debate like, oh, well, he sucked last year. It's like, it doesn't matter. He wins 2 playoff games after the Jaguars were back-to-back number 1 overall picks.
Yeah.
Yes, they got Doug Peterson, and there's a couple guys they signed on offense to make it easier for you, but that's some major props. He will get all my flowers for that. If the Chiefs lose this game, I think that there'll be a lot of questions. Was it worth trading Tyreek Hill? I think that comes to the surface again. I don't think the sky is burning necessarily. I mean, they've never had a first-round exit with Patty Mahomes, so can't quite say the sky is falling. But I think that Tyreek trade looks a little more questionable. I think that Kadarius Toney trade, if Kadarius Toney disappears this next game, it's like, what was that for? It's like, because they also, the last few years they've been signing like these old receivers. Like they signed Josh Gordon, Sammy Watkins. They did Le'Veon Bell. They tried him out. They tried out LaShawn McCoy at the end of his career. Like signing all these washed players to kind of, give Patty help. It's like, I think that there's some questions asked about it, but I think that would encourage them to go after like a D-Hop or something like that.
Yeah. My only thing with the sky is falling would be if Trevor Lawrence starts his career versus Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence 0-4. That's a concern for me.
For Patty?
Yeah, especially if he's at home. And the Jags are still a year behind. They weren't even supposed to make the playoffs. Like, no one was thinking about them even remotely making the playoffs until next year, especially with how loaded everyone thought the AFC would be. And the AFC is loaded. The Steelers were a really good team, but got the benefit of playing in a bad division, but you made the most of it. You turned it around and you were the hottest team coming into the playoffs. So it's like, for the Jags, you're still a year behind. So if you win this game and the Chiefs lose, it's like you just lost to the team that was a year behind. But what a difference a coach makes.
Yeah, no kidding. Doug Peterson turns this team around like that. Yeah. It's amazing. Talking about a team that was historically horrendous. I mean, even before the Urban Meyer era, they were bad. Right before, like between Saxonville and now,
yeah,